Rich, you guys at Matrix are doing some pretty cool things that are very custom. You know, customers that are thinking about, I still have AS400s deployed.
Right.
And I'm still running my business with AS400s. And oh, by the way, if those goes in the 65% number that Colin was referencing, right? I can't make it.
Right.
You guys are designing DR solutions for customers that have, you know, old legacy platforms that also need to get backed up to the cloud. Talk about how we're doing that.
Right, and what it really boils down to is we take the thought of, you know, we all at Matrix were engineers at one point. We've been doing this for years and years. I mean, I was 20 years on the other side of the fence of this before I came into the cloud business. And really what it all boils down to is when something happens, you know, how do you recover from that? And like was mentioned earlier, equipment is usually the piece that gets you. Everybody's got a backup. You know, does the backup work? That's another story. But it's really about the equipment. So what we do at Matrix is we have diverse locations, and in the event of, you know, or in the instance that you're talking about the AS400 solution, we actually have an AS400 in our data center. It's a hybrid model where it's cloud-based computing from this aspect of their documents and their daily sales, like their CRM, email, all of that is all cloud. But then they have a physical server that sits with their AS400 data. We put another AS400 in a diverse data center and cross traffic between them. So we've got several layers of redundancy on that. If the AS400 in one location goes down in the primary site, well, you know, the data comes from the secondary site.
Yep.
If something happens to the primary data center or the connectivity to the primary data center, all of the cloud services switch to the redundant site. Yep. So it's really about building a hybrid model around that sort of scenario.
Got it. Cool. So kind of non-virtualized resources next to virtualized resources.
Correct.
Physically sitting right next to each other at different data centers, replicating between them.
Exactly.
Very cool. So every customer, regardless of how old their technology may be, there's a DR strategy you can put in place for them. Is that a fair statement, guys?
Yes. Well, from the data perspective of, you know, desktop as a service or application as a service, the public internet works just fine. So they probably already have that. We prefer actually because, you know, who do you call if the internet's running slow, if the internet's down? We prefer that you have some sort of connectivity directly to us, but if they have an existing MPLS network, we have a head leg. And so there are a lot of options available around connectivity. You know, public internet works just fine, but you know, there's other things that we can bring to the table as well.